Agents, remember when we opened 20 exotic caches back to back? Well, we're back to the same shenanigans. Our mission? Open as many as it takes until we get a God World exotic. And that's exactly what we've done in this video. We've opened an additional 20 exotic caches for a total of 40 exotic caches opened back to back. This quantity has exposed what I believe to be the RNG programming regarding the quality of these caches. You're going to want to see this. Let's go. Agents, you grind hard to get these exotic caches every week, completing the weekly legendary project, donating resources to the SHD project every week, climbing 30 floors in the summit weekly, and grinding through season events. And in the end, what are you getting? Quality caches or crap? If you're new to the game, each cache is a chance to acquire something you haven't. I get that. But once you've been around for a while, you will likely seek to max God roll all your exotics. When a new exotic becomes available, I grind to get it, then spend whatever components I have to get it above the 90 percentile. If it's an exotic I will use in builds often, then I will optimize it right away. If not, I save my optimization resources for builds and hope RNG will eventually give me a God rolled version. For most exotics, eventually never comes. Like most agents at my SHD level, I have all my exotics at the 90 percentile or better. It's too expensive to optimize all of them. I prefer to reserve these resources for builds, and re-rolling just a single one at the crafting bench could take 30 or more exotic components to achieve max God rolled status. If I'm lucky. I rather use the components on future new exotics, which will inevitably come with whatever mass I was working on at the moment. So now I have exotics hogging space in my stash. A conundrum indeed. So, last time we opened 20 exotic caches, now we're going to open another 20, bringing us to a total of 40 exotic caches opened back to back. Fancy a wager? How many will we have to open before we get a triple God rolled exotic? Okay, let's get cracking. And the first gives us the Tardigrade armor system. Although it looks okay, it's not better than the one I have. Number 2 is a Dodge City holster. Number 3 is the Nemesis sniper rifle, and the rolls are too low to optimize this. And the Lady Death, again, not a God rolled version. Number 5, technically 25, is the Backfire, and it's at about 3/4 rolls. Is it me, or do all of these have about the same level of rolls? Now we get the Capacitor, and it's at about the same level as the last ones we opened. Number 7, or 27, is the Nemesis sniper rifle. Again, it's at the same level as the other ones. You might be learning something here. Number 28 is the Imperial Dynasty holster with one stat, God rolled, the other one not. And another Dodge City holster, not happy about that. So, these are all very close to the same, even though they don't look like it per se. So we're halfway through this set. Let's continue the journey. And our third Dodge City holster, a little bit better than the other ones. Hey agents, if you like this video, you'll probably like this one too. If you want to get your hands on those elusive named items only available in the Dark Zone without ever stepping one foot in the DZ, then check this one out. An Acosta's Go backpack, and we get the BTSU gloves. I think it's a little too low to optimize this, so it's not a very good one. And the Merciless, and it looks good because we got 2 God rolls there, but that crit chance is really low. Number 15 or 35 is the Acosta's Go bag, a duplicate. Another set of BTSU gloves, and at about the 75 percentile. A duplicate capacitor, and I think if you average these attributes, we'll be at about the 75 percentile. And lastly, our 40th opened consecutive exotic cache gives us the Sawyer's knee pads. Again, not God rolled, at about that 75 percentile. So how about that wager? Did anybody guess over 40 exotics it would take to get a God rolled? If so, you were right. But I'm definitely seeing a trend. Look at all the duplicates we got, and how many times did I say the words 75 percentile? All of these were at about that range. Now these caches are RNG based, and we all have different RNG on different days, but overall I'm pretty satisfied with the RNG that I get. And I'm sure some of you have gotten triple God rolled exotics out of these caches before. I'm not sure I have, definitely in drops in the open world though. But what's important is I think what we're seeing here, we're seeing a trend, and I don't think this is any sort of RNG coincidence. I think we're seeing programming behind here. Something that's saying, don't give anything better than 75 percentile out of these caches and then make the agents grind and optimize, or grind and hope the RNG gets them something better, which again may never come. And if it does come, relying on that will take light years in order for us to get triple god rolls on all of our exotics. And I'm not advocating that it shouldn't be a challenge, it should be, but there should also be more likelihood of us getting triple god rolls out of these caches. And I'm not liking my odds so far. As a matter of fact, for the events, I would never spend red stars on an exotic cache, especially because of the quality we're seeing here. I mean, so far we're at 0 for 40. I wouldn't keep any of these. As a matter of fact, out of all 40 of the exotic caches that I've opened back to back in this series, I've only kept one exotic, and that's the Memento backpack, because I didn't have a triple god roll one yet, and it was close enough for me to optimize, which I did. I might sound like I'm complaining, but I'm not. I'm just saying that we need something a little bit more reasonable here as a trade-off to the amount of time that we're putting into the game in order to actually get these caches. They seem like they're easy to get, but think about how many hours you have to spend in order to complete that legendary mission every single week, and how many hours it takes to get through 30 levels in that summit, even when you're playing on heroic or challenging. It just takes a lot of time. Okay, agents, this is where I'd like to hear from you. Do your exotic caches look similar to what you saw here? Or are you getting god rolls from time to time at a better rate than I am? You know, because RNG is a personal experience. So based on what you've seen so far, what is the consensus? We've opened 40 exotic caches back to back. All seem to be about the 75 percentile, which is interesting. But what should we do with our exotics that we have in our stash that aren't god rolled? Should we just bite the bullet and use up all of our components one at a time, try to get these things to triple god rolled? Or should we sacrifice a lamb to the RNGesus? You tell me. Either way, I'm not done here. I think we're on to something. I'm going to get us to 100 exotic caches opened back to back. With this quantity, we will see either a change in our results or prove that there's RNG programming limiting the quality behind these exotic caches. And the question of the day is, if the latter ends up being the case, will you still grind those weekly legendary missions? Will you still climb those 30 floors in the summit every week? Inquiring minds want to know. Agents, thank you so much for watching this video to the end. Have you seen my Division 2 Netflix style build miniseries? These aren't your average build videos. Each episode is introduced with an integrated cinematic storyline, delivered from the character's perspective, followed by a detailed overview of the character's build loadout, gameplay, and an awesome soundtrack. Here is episode 1 and the most recent episode released. They're worth your time. And I'm out.